So this is what Panini does. They do things different, better than anybody. Maybe if somebody wants to open theirs up and then I can look and see what it looks like.
I think Todd should have to open his up because
I want to keep mine in mint condition.
I don't know.
I mean,
$85, sold out at Target in hours. Pre-orders literally crashed Panini's website. This is what happens when Caitlin Clark's name goes on a product during the WNBA offseason when she hasn't touched a basketball professionally in months. And when Dan Patrick opened that collection on live television, his immediate instinct wasn't to rip into those packs like a kid on Christmas morning. It was to keep it sealed. Don't open it. This is going to be worth something. That reaction from a veteran sports media personality tells you everything about where we are with the Caitlin Clark phenomenon in December 2024. We're not just talking about a basketball player anymore. We're talking about a cultural investment. But here's what makes this release absolutely wild. The WNBA is literally in the middle of a potential labor strike right now. Players are fighting for better pay, threatening to sit out the entire 2025 season if their demands aren't met. And yet the biggest story breaking through to mainstream sports media this week isn't about collective bargaining or revenue sharing. It's about trading cards for one player generating more buzz than entire team rosters.
meant to be opened, looked at, but I'm going to keep mine wrapped.
I'm going to keep mine wrapped too, since I'm getting a pie in the face.
Right.
So this is it right here. So he goes on to talk about
Practice safe card collecting.
Look at what Panini included in this set because this breakdown is insane. 32 trading cards total. 4 cards per pack, 8 packs per unit. 50 cards featuring Clark in her Indiana Fever uniform. 10 lifestyle cards showing her off the court, living her life being a celebrity. Autographed versions with ultra-rare color blast inserts that collectors are going to lose their minds over. And get this, they even included her Time magazine cover. The one that positioned her as the face of women's basketball before she'd played a single professional game. This isn't a standard rookie card release. This is Panini treating a second-year WNBA player like an established superstar with crossover appeal. They're packaging her the way they'd package LeBron or Steph Curry, and the market is responding exactly how Panini predicted it would. The $85 price point didn't scare anyone off. The limited availability created urgency. And now you've got sports collectors who have never watched a WNBA game in their lives scrambling to secure sealed boxes because they recognize investment value when they see it.
2025 Caitlin Clark, 100 card set including 50 Caitlin Clark WNBA and 10 Caitlin Clark lifestyles featuring 4 cards per pack, 8 packs per unit, for a total of 32 cards. Looking for the exclusive green halo and green laser parallels. Look for autographs and the ultra rare color blast. Insert one exclusive keepsake highlighting the career of Caitlin Clark. They definitely on their job with getting Caitlin Clark pretty much back in the headlines, bruh. So this is it here, y'all. This is it. This is the cover here. That's hard. 32 trading cards, autographs. My thing is, how many of these will be available? Like, is it a limited supply of these? Like, how they going about this? I don't know. It's just very interesting.
But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Sophie Cunningham just said what half the league has been thinking but won't say publicly. She's not just the face of the league, she is the league. And then Cunningham goes nuclear, saying anyone who argues the WNBA would be where it is today without Caitlin Clark is, quote, dumb as sh*T. Those are her exact words, from a player who competed against Clark head-to-head, who lost to the Fever in the playoffs, who has every reason to downplay her impact. This is the conversation that's been dividing WNBA fans since April, and it's getting more heated by the day. On one side, you've got people pointing to television ratings, attendance figures, merchandise sales, and social media engagement. Every single metric that measures fan interest shows massive spikes connected directly to Caitlin Clark. The Fever averaged 1.2 million viewers per nationally televised game in 2024. The next closest team was the Las Vegas Aces at 620,000. That's not a marginal difference. That's nearly double the viewership. On the other side, you've got fans who have been supporting the WNBA for decades, who watched Diana Taurasi dominate, who celebrated Candace Parker's championships, who appreciated the league before it became trendy on social media. They see the Clark hype as disrespectful to players who built the foundation she's standing on. And honestly, They're not entirely wrong about that history. But Sophie Cunningham isn't talking about history. She's talking about right now, today, in December, when nobody's even playing basketball.
Oh, guys, it's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video, and it looked like Caitlin Clark has broken the internet yet again. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. Man, I hope everybody's having a great holiday week. Man, I know I've been away the last couple of days, man, getting ready for the holidays. I kind of chill out around this time of the year. Those of you guys who kind of been following the channel for a while know around the holidays, I like to spend time with family and just kind of take it a little easy, man. But we got to talk about this. So Caitlin Clark has broken the internet.
Now listen to this part, because the timing of this Panini release is absolutely deliberate. Caitlin Clark has been completely off the radar for weeks. She hasn't attended Iowa Hawkeye games. She hasn't been doing media appearances or podcast interviews. According to multiple sources, she's probably back in Indianapolis training, staying completely out of the spotlight during the holidays, letting these CBA negotiations play out without her name attached to every single headline. That's an incredibly smart move politically, because there's been serious speculation that Clark could be influencing the strike conversation behind the scenes. Think about it. She's got the most leverage of any player in the entire league. If she publicly supported sitting out the 2025 season, it would put enormous pressure on team owners to cave to player demands. If she broke ranks and said she's playing regardless of what the union decides, it would completely undermine their negotiating position. So she stayed silent, which is probably exactly the advice her agents gave her. But here's the kicker: Panini doesn't care about labor negotiations. They care about market demand. And they just demonstrated that Caitlin Clark can move premium products in December, during the dead period of the WNBA calendar, while she's not even in the public eye. That's the kind of star power that transcends the sport itself.
Is this drop right here. So it says 2025 Panini Caitlin Clark Chronicle keepsake pre-orders. So this is something that is coming out. So Dan Patrick actually spoke about this and kind of broke it all down what this Panini thing is, and he's pretty much saying that people should buy it and not open it. Now I don't know if I'm gonna get this or not, but I just thought this was pretty darn interesting. So this is what took place on Dan Patrick's show about an hour.
And get this, Doug Gottlieb had the audacity to say her shooting form isn't great on these cards. Dan Patrick's crew immediately pushed back on that nonsense. Look at the form captured in this photography: 2 fingers down, perfect follow-through, textbook mechanics. And then came the obvious response that shut down all criticism: that shot's going in, which is the only argument that actually matters in basketball. This is the exact same pattern we see with every single piece of Caitlin Clark criticism. Someone with credentials questions some aspect of her game. Her college shooting form was supposedly too low. Her release point would make her vulnerable to taller defenders. She'd struggle with WNBA physicality. She couldn't run an offense against professional defenses. Every single one of those predictions was completely wrong. She finished second in MVP voting as a rookie. She broke the single-season assist record. She dragged a fever team that went 13-27 the previous year straight into the playoffs. So when Panini puts her shooting form on a premium trading card, they're not worried about Doug Gottlieb's technical analysis. They're betting on results. And the results say that whatever mechanical flaws supposedly exist in her shot don't matter when she's hitting step-back threes from the logo and finishing the season shooting 34% from beyond the arc on high-volume attempts.
When
Got to put it in.
when Doug said that her form
Yeah, not great.
needs to change her shot,
It's never going to work at the next level.
all I know is that shot's going in.
That's right.
Yep. So shout out to Dan Patrick for giving us a breakdown of this Caitlin Clark collection that has been released by Panini. So this is what is in the insider there. It says pre-order Panini Caitlin Clark Chronicle. So as you guys can see here, it says 32 trading cards. Wow. It's Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever All-Star game. I believe her Time magazine stuff is in there. Sold out at Target. Said it's sold out at Target. So this is $82.
Here's what this card collection really represents, and this is the part that's going to blow your mind. It's a bet by Panini that Caitlin Clark's marketability will increase over time, not decrease. That 5 years from now, A sealed 2025 Chronicle box will be worth significantly more than $85 because her legend will have grown even larger. That's a bet they're not making on other WNBA players, even the ones with championships and MVP awards sitting on their mantles. Aja Wilson won back-to-back MVPs in 2022 and 2024. She led the Aces to consecutive championships. She's arguably the best player in the WNBA by almost every statistical measure you can find. But Panini isn't releasing a 100-card Aja Wilson collection with premium packaging and lifestyle photography. They're not betting that collectors will treat her cards as investment-grade assets 20 years from now. Breanna Stewart signed the richest contract in WNBA history when she joined the Liberty. She's a two-time champion, two-time Finals MVP, two-time League MVP. She's got the resume that should make her the face of the league, but her cards aren't selling out at Target in hours. Her name doesn't generate the same search volume on social media. Her Instagram engagement doesn't come close to Clark's numbers. Sabrina Ionescu is the other player who gets mentioned in this conversation constantly. She's got the New York market behind her, the Nike endorsement deal, that incredible three-point contest win against Steph Curry. She's incredibly talented and marketable. But when Panini had to choose which player to build a premium collection around, they chose Clark without hesitation. That decision was based on hard data and market sentiment that you can't argue with.
This is Sophie Cunningham speaking on Caitlin Clark. Let's roll it.
And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck. And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the
So
league.
that's Sophie Cunningham, man. Speaking about Caitlin Clark being the face of the league. Want to know you guys' thoughts down in the comment section right now. Happy holidays to everybody. Try to put out some content later today and throughout the week. Probably chill out as we get closer to Christmas, though, y'all. So might just go down to maybe 1 or 2 videos a day, if that, when it get close to Christmas. But I just want to thank you guys for one hell of a year here on the channel. I was kind of in a funk, I ain't gonna lie, because we didn't hit 100K this year. I'm not buying subscribers or views. That's not my cup of tea. But I just wanted to really hit 100K. It really bothered me that we didn't, but we gonna roll on, man. We gonna add a bunch of new stuff to the channel in 2026, and we just gonna keep the WNBA train rolling, man. But I want to know y'all thoughts down in the comment section right now. Keep them bells on.
But wait, it gets even more telling when you look at the content creator economy around the WNBA. The person making these videos mentioned he's frustrated about not hitting 100,000 subscribers yet. And here's what's important. He's not buying views or subscribers, which means his growth is completely organic. Driven entirely by people choosing to watch WNBA content because they actually care about it. And the reason his channel grew at all this year is because Caitlin Clark gave him something to talk about that casual sports fans genuinely wanted to consume. That's the reality for WNBA content creators right now. The algorithm rewards Clark content because viewers click on it, watch it all the way through, and engage heavily in the comments section. Videos about other players, no matter how talented they are, don't perform the same way in terms of views, retention, or engagement. It's not a conspiracy. It's not media bias or some agenda being pushed. It's audience behavior reflecting genuine interest from real people. This creates an incredibly challenging dynamic for the league that nobody wants to address honestly. On one hand, you want to capitalize on the star power that's driving unprecedented attention to women's basketball. On the other hand, you don't want the entire league's identity to revolve around one player, especially when that player is white in a league that's 70% black. That tension is real. It's complicated, and it's not going away anytime soon. Hold up, because here's where Sophie Cunningham's point becomes absolutely crucial. Denying this reality doesn't help anyone involved. Pretending that Caitlin Clark isn't the primary driver of the WNBA's current mainstream relevance doesn't magically make other players more famous or marketable. It just makes the entire conversation dishonest and counterproductive. And dishonest conversations don't lead to productive solutions for anyone. The question isn't whether Clark is the face of the league. The Panini Collection release answers that question definitively. The question is what the league does with that reality moving forward. Do they build a sustainable model that uses her star power to elevate other players and create new storylines? Do they develop rivalries and narratives that give fans compelling reasons to care about games she's not playing in? Do they create marketing strategies that acknowledge her unique appeal while also showcasing the incredible depth of talent across the entire league? Because here's what happens if they don't figure this out quickly. Caitlin Clark will eventually retire. Maybe that's 10 years from now. Maybe it's 15 if she stays healthy and motivated. And if the WNBA hasn't built a foundation of fans who care about the league beyond one player's individual brilliance, all this momentum disappears overnight. The television ratings drop back to where they were before she arrived. The attendance numbers decline to pre-2024 levels. The merchandise sales crater. And the next generation of incredibly talented players inherits a league that had its moment in the spotlight but couldn't sustain it long-term. Now here's the kicker that nobody's talking about in these CBA negotiations. Those are the real stakes of this entire conversation. It's not about whether Sophie Cunningham is right that Clark is the face of the league. She obviously is, and the Panini collection proves it beyond any doubt. The sold-out Target inventory proves it. Dan Patrick dedicating a segment to trading cards proves it. What matters now is whether the WNBA's leadership, the players' union, the team owners, and the media covering the league can have brutally honest conversations about how to leverage this moment into long-term sustainable growth. The CBA negotiations are a massive part of that conversation. Players are demanding higher salaries, better travel conditions, improved maternity benefits, and a larger share of league revenue. Those are completely legitimate demands backed by the fact that the league's revenue is growing significantly. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That revenue is growing in large part because of one player's impact on television ratings and attendance figures. So how do you structure a collective bargaining agreement that compensates all players fairly while also acknowledging that market value isn't distributed equally across the roster? How do you balance fairness with the reality that some players drive significantly more revenue than others? And get this, the league's expansion plans make this conversation even more complicated. The WNBA is adding teams in San Francisco and Toronto, with more cities being seriously considered for future expansion. Those new teams will draft players from existing rosters through expansion drafts. But will fans in those new markets actually show up if Caitlin Clark isn't on the schedule regularly? Will they buy season tickets and merchandise for players they've never heard of? Or does the league need to ensure that every market gets at least a few high-profile games featuring the players who actually drive ticket sales and television viewership? The media rights negotiations add another layer to this complexity. The current television deal expires after the 2025 season, and the WNBA is negotiating new contracts with networks right now. The numbers being discussed are significantly higher than the previous deal, which sounds great on paper. But those networks are betting on continued growth in viewership and engagement. If Caitlin Clark gets injured, or if fan interest declines for any reason, suddenly, those revenue projections look a lot less certain. The league needs to demonstrate that it can maintain audience engagement beyond one player's individual appeal, and that's a massive challenge. So there you have it. An $85 trading card collection selling out in hours isn't just about sports memorabilia or collector demand. It's evidence of exactly where the WNBA stands at the end of 2024. Caitlin Clark is the face of the league. Sophie Cunningham is absolutely right about that, and anyone arguing otherwise is ignoring objective reality that's staring them in the face. The question is whether the league can build something sustainable around that reality, or whether this moment becomes a cautionary tale about putting all your eggs in one basket. The Panini collection will definitely be worth something 5 years from now. That's a safe investment bet. But whether the WNBA as a whole is worth more 5 years from now depends entirely on decisions being made right now during these CBA negotiations, expansion discussions, and media rights deals. And those decisions need to be grounded in complete honesty about what's actually driving the league's current success. So here's my question for you, drop it in the comments. Do you think the WNBA can build lasting success beyond Caitlin Clark? Or are they setting themselves up for a massive crash when she eventually retires? If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening behind the scenes, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because this CBA situation is about to get even more intense. I'll see you in the next one.